And when I was about 14 or 15 or so, I used marijuana, let's say a year thing, for about 6 months, 6 to 9 months or so. And then I noticed that it actually took a while for my memory, concentration, things like that to come back. It took about a year and a half or so to get back up to what I would consider 100%. I was just wondering if that was anything that had been studied to see if there was a recovery time or anything like that.
Well, according to that research, the Madeline Mine paper that I talked about earlier from 2012 in Proceedings National Academy of Sciences, you don't completely get it back. So if you lose certain cognitive functions, you may, the further progression may be delayed if you stop. You may kind of halt that negative progression, but you don't get that back as far as I understand that research. And I will echo, I think it's a great point, Steve, is that a lot of patients that use marijuana every day and finally decide that it's a problem, they will tell you that they don't feel like they're performing at the level that they would like to. And it's a different sort of thing. It's not as pronounced as you may see with opioids, for example, or alcohol, but ultimately people start to wonder, am I really being as successful as I would like to be? And that is the kind of thing that will lead them into treatment occasionally, if they're not forced to.
Steve, thank you so much for that point. I think it's a very critical one. Just, Kevin, to follow up on what he said, is there any evidence that the length of time that someone uses marijuana, that it will improve cognitive function, or are you just looking at the decrement and saying that if there is a decrement, that there's no evidence, at least from the study that you cited, that you'll get it back?
Yeah, I'm not aware of recovery, to my knowledge.
I see. Yeah. So the issue is, if you feel like you get cognitively fuzzed out, that may be with you permanently.
Yeah, I think on a larger scale, if you're actually testing and measuring and that sort of thing, I certainly agree that you may feel like you're able to remember things better and that sort of thing. And I wouldn't be shocked if that were the case. You saw some kind of improvement compared to where you were. But in terms of neuropsychological testing, I'm not aware of that recovery with the research.
Yeah. Okay. We have 1 minute. Can you you're doing some research for a new treatment?
Sure. So the clinical trials that I'm doing, I'm using both of the cannabinoids we talked about earlier, dronabinol and then also nabilone, and we're doing clinical trials for people who have decided that they want to stop using marijuana. And so we use those medicines like people use the nicotine patch or buprenorphine, Suboxone, that people may be familiar with. The idea that we didn't talk about today